Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Product Biz Podcast. My name is Monica Little and I'm your host, and I'm so excited to introduce you today to special guest Deonnah, who is an e-commerce consultant and a Shopify expert. In today's episode, we really talk about what is Shopify, what are the benefits of it, what are some of the apps and features that you can use, and what are some easy tips and tricks that you can implement on your website today to make sure that your customers are having an awesome journey that is leading to more products in their cart and more sales at the end of the day. A little bit about Deonnah before I bring her on for you to hear from her. She is an e-commerce consultant and Shopify expert that helps shop owners create a clear path to dependable sales and marketing. She loves helping shop owners turn their marketing confusion into marketing confidence through her educational programs and one-on-one coaching opportunities. You'll hear a little bit more about her background and why she's an expert in Shopify, and she has so much great information to share about how you can use this awesome tool to create a website, get your products in front of more people, and really build something that lasts a long time from the beginning of your business all the way to when you're growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is something that Shopify will be there to support you along the line and be your website for the long run. So without further ado, let's bring on Deonnah and have her on this week's episode of the Product Biz Podcast. Well, welcome Deonnah to the Product Biz Podcast. I'm so excited to have you as a guest today to talk all things Shopify.
Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun during our last conversation. I loved how it flowed. I just loved interviewing you. So I'm excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, I know. We had a really good conversation. And by the time this episode airs, that episode will actually be on the podcast too. So we're going to have two awesome episodes of us chatting. One from when Deonnah interviewed me, and now we're doing the inverse, having her on the Product Biz Podcast because she is a Shopify expert. And I thought this is such a great conversation for people because Shopify is not my strong suit. I am a Squarespace fan and I know the amazing benefits of Shopify. So I thought it'd be perfect to have you on here. So I think that is where I want to start. So tell us a little bit more about you, how you got to the state where you are, where you're now helping people with marketing, helping people with Shopify. Bring us up to how you got to where you are now.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's kind of a long story. I'll see if I can consolidate everything. But a long time ago, I wanted to have an online business where I could just sit on a beach and like sell whatever I wanted to on the internet. And during that epiphany that I had, things like Shopify and Squarespace did not even exist at the time. And so there was a little bit of a delay. And by the time I was able to really start down the path of sales and marketing using e-commerce, there was a lot at my disposal. So I had always wanted to own a yoga clothing shop. I did start that store. We specialized in pants and athleisure and all the kinds of things like that. And at the time, I really wasn't confident in my skill set to be a developer or to know marketing. And I was like, well, if I'm going to take this seriously, I should probably get a degree. And I was like, 28 years old at the time. So I went back to college for the first time since graduating high school in 2001. And I decided, marketing was the degree I wanted to get. And so long story short, I had a marketing degree with entrepreneurship minor. By the time 2012 rolled around, the industry I was in was very saturated. If you can get an item of clothing like at Walmart, a pair of yoga pants for $5, you know that your level of entry, there's a huge barrier there. It's a commoditized product at that point. You can still do it. However, with where I was headed, I was more getting my development in communication, marketing, and design. And that was really where I was super passionate and I was excelling. So I took an internship. They had me doing Dreamweaver, coding, like white papers. I had never coded a day in my life. I was learning CSS and HTML, and I just picked it up like I was like, wow, this is a hidden talent I have. I can do developing. Like, okay, so maybe I need to pivot here and go into marketing, communication, and design, because it's really about the positioning into a market, the vibe, how you present yourself, messaging, all of those types of things that really get a customer thinking about purchasing from you in their process of decision making. So that was what really lit me up. And so I decided to pivot and I got a minor in, digital communication design, which was coding, heavy coding stuff, some graphic design and arts. And then along with my marketing degree, that was kind of what I ended up with. So fast forward, I started my journey in WordPress, as many of us do. There was no show it. Shopify was still like a little infant baby. People didn't trust it very much. Wix was coming out. Squarespace was coming out. People wanted that ease of design. I remember like in 2014, Canva was starting to like actually gain some momentum. And so me being like the Illustrator or Photoshop person, I was like, oh, Canva, what is this? And am I cheating? Like, this, but it just became more commonplace. So not to say that other platforms are bad or negative. I think that we have just progressed so much and it's let so many people in and into that realm of like, I want to design and it can be easier for people now that don't have that kind of background. So that's where I got passionate about helping lots of people in the e-commerce space really get their messaging out, their vibe, their look, their design, which inevitably led me to the back-end systems and improving those things and how to really scale a store and help businesses scale to hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales monthly. And that's really, I love it. It's my passion.
Oh my gosh, you're like the secret weapon that everyone wants in their back pocket on how to build their website and help them scale and help them really get in front of more people. And I love hearing your story because, and this is so interesting, I always ask this question right at the start, because just knowing the different path that you went and how you started one business and then you went to school on a specific degree and then you kind of pivoted. It really shows that no matter what someone's going through right now, like you're going through that for a reason, right? And you're going to either learn something or learn that you want to pivot, or you're going to take, I'm fairly confident that you'll agree with this, that the reason that you went down that yoga clothing athleisure route was then to be able to help people who are now selling products, right? And getting a feel for it paired with your degree and experience to where you are now. So I love hearing all of your amazing background and what you're doing and how you're helping people at this stage.
Yeah, I just love it so much. You said something just a second ago that I'm going to remember later, but we'll just keep going.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So let's kind of dive into Shopify. I want to talk about the basics because let's start here, get everyone up to speed who's listening. But you named a couple different platforms like Shopify and Squarespace. But if we were to make it as simple as possible for someone who maybe doesn't have Shopify or Squarespace or any of these types of platforms within their business just yet, what is Shopify and what does it do? Let's start with the basics.
All right. I love this. So Shopify is an e-commerce platform, comes fully integrated with so many different tools to help you really sell your products, whether you're just starting out or you're selling $1 million a year in product, or $1 million a month in product. It's very flexible. It's very easy to get started. And I would say that if someone was interested in even just starting to get into e-commerce, Shopify is a great place to start because you can get on a very basic plan. They give you a free theme or box to start with. You can't really do much with that free setup or free theme, unfortunately, but it helps to really get your feet wet on how it's set up, how to customize things, what they're trying to get you to do as far as catalog your products, organize them in a simple way for shoppers to purchase from your store, and then really helps you to figure out, okay, how do I integrate my payment gateways? How can I make shipping very easy for myself? And it's just such a great platform for that reason. Now, if you're, going down the route of just wanting to get started, you can set up yourself for free. I think you get up to 10 products to do that with. Even if you're a print on demand store and you just want to try something that basic, that's very like low cost entry, right? So you can integrate, Printful or Printify with your shop and you don't even have to hold inventory. You can just make fun things in Canva and then have that integrate with your shirts or your bags or your cups or whatever, and then sell those and they'll just ship it for you. So that's a great way to just play around with it too and get started. And I actually did that.
Oh my
one time.
gosh, I love
Yeah,
it. I had someone on the podcast who is a print on demand expert too, and
cool.
she raved about it. So I love hearing some of those similarities too.
Yes,
But
it was.
basically, I think if we were to say like what is Shopify, it's a tool that can help you to build your website, right? How you said there's different like themes you can choose from, different boxes, your shipping, your pricing. It's basically the website that then people would go to purchase from you, and it takes care of A to Z, has your products on there, gets you to get the customer to be able to purchase, and then you can ship it and fulfill and all that fun stuff, correct?
Yes, yeah. And it makes it pretty easy if you're setting up things for the first time, getting super basic. But when you're ready to grow a little bit more and start thinking about, I want to make money with shipping. I want to have a more robust shipping situation or an inventory management situation. It will allow you flexibility to do that. You're not really thinking about those things when you're first getting started. But depending on what your niche or vertical or product is, you're definitely thinking, okay, so how can I manage these things? Especially if you have a warehouse or people that are working for you on fulfillment or anything like that, it can definitely help you grow into that if that's what your goal is.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I've heard about Shopify too, is just there's a lot of functionality. There's like so many things that you can do with it, so many applications, so many unique features. So I want to ask you a little bit more about what are some of those unique features that really make you such a fan of Shopify? Because I know there are other platforms like Squarespace too, but from what I've heard, Shopify has more of these functionalities, more of these capabilities. So what are maybe just a couple that you found to be really helpful, either from your clients or from your own experience specifically with Shopify?
I feel just like the ease of use in general is just it gives it such a step above. Is that what I'm trying to say? Other platforms. I have tried to work in Squarespace way back, and I just felt like in 2013 or 20 something. And I found it to just be so hard for me. I don't know. It's like the builder. I don't know what it was, but at least with Shopify, as long as you have, you know who your niche are, you know who your niche is, you know what your products are, and you start to upload those products, Shopify will magically start to place those things for you, if you have that type of theme. If not, the builder is simply just a drag and drop feature, especially if you're just now like just getting started or in the very beginning stages of using Shopify. Obviously, you can do more customizations if you know Liquid and you want a code and that kind of thing. But the drag and drop feature, and now with Shopify 2.0 creating additional pages and collections, I just think it's so much easier. And again, when I was really starting to dive into wanting to learn Shopify more was when I opened that print on demand shop, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to just play with this. I made stickers, I made cups, I made t-shirts, and I just really wanted to learn the system. And so playing around with it, I just thought it was so easy. And with other huge brands on it, like Kylie Cosmetics, Tesla, Coca-Cola, there's just so many people that are using this platform that would just blow your mind. And that's just to give you an idea of like how flexible this tool is and how easy it can be to use.
Yeah, I think that's awesome to hear how like small businesses can start on there, but even some of these really huge brands are on there. I had no idea that some of those were on there. So that's super exciting to
Yeah.
see that it can be that flexible and easy getting started, but then it's going to carry you as your business grows and actually be something that is there for you for the long run. So I love how you said it's super easy. You can figure out a theme, you can add pages, you can add collections, you can add your products. So it seems like getting your products on there is pretty straightforward. What about some of the more unique features that would make it a benefit to use Shopify specifically? So I've heard anecdotally from some people, for example, there are like, I don't know if plugins is the right word, but you can easily add reviews to your website by adding like a plugin. I've also heard anecdotally that it's pretty simple to connect Shopify also to Etsy, also to Amazon, to have your products on those platforms and also manage your inventory across those. So talk me through, from your opinion, what are some of those add-ons or plugins or whatever the right word is that
The
you
app.
find to be, the apps, that's the word. I'm like, I know there's a word for it.
So
Yeah, tell us
apps
more.
are great. If you come from a WordPress world, plugins. It's like an open source kind of community where you can make something. Apps kind of feature the same way. You can make an app and then sell it on the marketplace through Shopify's apps marketplace. So some of the really great ones are the reviews. Sometimes, depending on the theme you buy, those will come with it. However, you would still have to have like an app to just kind of get things moving and situated and organized how you want them. Some of the things that I like with the apps and the unique features are, yes, the social media connectivity. So I am a huge proponent of using social media to sell your products. And in 2019, I had come up with this hack for connecting Instagram and Facebook shops through Shopify because there was no integration at the time. And I had gotten a client who was denied for shopping for like 9 months. And I took 2 weeks and I like found this backdoor thing. And then I got published for it. And like, I'm kind of really well known in the space for like being the Instagram shops Facebook marketing person for Facebook and Instagram shopping. So long story short, Shopify finally came out with an integration that makes it super easy in the back end. If you just use the Facebook app now, you can go through the steps. As long as you have everything else in place, it's very, very easy. When you're using something like Shopify, and if you're going through like the Facebook family of apps now, what's cool is Facebook really prioritized Shopify when they were upgrading their shopping features, which included Instagram, the marketplace, Facebook shopping, Facebook catalogs, commerce manager, and all that kind of stuff. So they prioritized Shopify in the very beginning, and then all of the other apps that they connect with followed suit. So they still don't really have a connector back there for Squarespace, which is unfortunate. So you still have to use the backdoor solution. That I tend to use with some people that still are on Squarespace that haven't migrated over from Shopify or anything like that. So, but yes, the features that you can use with Etsy, with Google, with Pinterest, even like Pinterest app for Shopify is so cool, super easy to integrate, and creates, you know, an entire platform on Pinterest of all of your catalogs, all of your best sellers, what products, you know, are being looked at the most, and they will categorize those based on the API within Shopify. So it's just mirroring the data that's on your website over to Pinterest. So that's like one example. Also, I would say like sometimes, this is the unfortunate thing with the apps, is that it can get very, very expensive. So some of the other higher tier Shopify stores that I've built that are, you know, selling over $100,000 a month in products, they have integrated with things like ShipStation to save on shipping costs. They do integrate with QuickBooks or A2X to get their inventory flowing through a tool called Finale, and Finale will integrate with your ShipStation, with your QuickBooks, so it can become like a really robust system. But when you're using Shopify at that kind of level, it becomes very expensive, right? It can add up pretty quickly, because with the apps, you're paying monthly fees for ease of use, to streamline your processes, to make order, shipping, packaging, and delivery something that you don't even have to touch, and it can just be all automated, minus having to pack the order, right? So, like you were saying with some of the features, they are so useful and so easy to integrate, but some of them do cost quite a bit of money. Whereas, you know, if you're using WordPress, and I don't know if Squarespace has these types of things, but a lot of those apps or plugins can be free to use. They're not always the best, and usually the best do cost the money, but a lot of times they're not a monthly fee like with Shopify. And I think it's because Shopify really does prioritize a good user experience, and people that are developing apps go through a rigorous process to get their apps able to sell on the App Store through Shopify. So they really care about those types of things. And the reason you're paying so much is because they work, and, you know, you want your business to work for you, and not for you to just have to constantly be a slave to these types of things in your business or lose money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the couple examples that you gave, and I can already start to see how that actually is such a great benefit. Like you mentioned Pinterest, you mentioned connecting with ShipStation or other places to actually ship and fulfill your products. So one of the reasons, because I actually have my plant-based beauty website, it was on Squarespace. And one of the reasons why, I mean, there's a couple. So I was first starting off and it was cheaper compared to Shopify. So I was like, okay, I'm just getting started. Let me try it here. But I found myself to be a little intimidated by all the apps and features. So, talk me through, for example, if someone is using one of these apps, maybe the Pinterest one is a perfect example, how you said you can get your products on Pinterest by using that app and that feature on Shopify. Is there a range for these different types of apps in terms of how easy they are? Are they all really easy, just kind of apply it and it works? Do some of them require more knowledge in terms of coding? I'm sure it probably varies depending on the app, but just paint the picture on complexity and how to use these and how it works within Shopify.
Sure. So the majority of the apps that you connect that it can help market your stuff are free. So like Facebook app comes integrated, Pinterest, all that kind of stuff. And the APIs are really great because they are built to just connect the data and funnel things through. So the thing with where you have to tell you have to tell Facebook, for example, and Shopify how you want to categorize your products. Like, which products do you want to actually show in your catalogs? You could funnel everything over, but then you still have to organize it within the Commerce Manager, and you still have to tell Facebook, like, okay, these are my products. And then they have to go through like another round of accepting what those products are. So those types of nuances do happen, even when you're setting up your Instagram catalogs. Generally they're connected to whatever's accepted in Facebook because Facebook's the gatekeeper. Facebook owns Instagram. So whatever you want to do on Instagram, you still have to go through Facebook, which also is a nuance. But again, you have to go through like an approval process every time you update a catalog back there in Commerce Manager. The great thing about using these API connectors, though, is that anytime you change anything on your website, whether it's price, sizing, you add a color of a certain thing that wasn't on your website before to the same product category or product page, then it's going to automatically display on your social media as well. So that's like a benefit, like Pinterest, for example.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes, that's not always true with Facebook, though. So you kind of have to tell it like, hey, I want to display this new thing. Unless you have all your products funneling over, then, if you add something new, Facebook always has to just do a double check because they want to make sure that what you say you're selling is what you're actually selling. So the rules
Got
are a
it.
little different.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's a little bit of potential legwork to get some things set up, but then it essentially will help you out in the long run as you add variations or colors or different things. It can be a lot simpler just to kind of take your Shopify and then blast it on those other platforms that it's connected to without having to go into each one and update it here and update it there. I mean, I think about my Squarespace and my Etsy and the other platforms that I was on. It's like, yeah, if I added a new product on Squarespace, then I would have to go on Etsy and add it there too. And then if it was on Amazon, I'd have to go there and add it too. So it sounds like Shopify helps with that, which there might be some legwork, but then it's kind of much easier to make the updates across the board and saves you a lot of time down the line.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Google Shopping can be a little tricky too because it regulates so many different things. And so some of your products might be approved one day and then you're flagged the next day. So really making sure that the data on your Shopify store is accurate. The titles are what they say they are. You have your SEO integrated, really dialed in. Things are categorized correctly. Google will be easier for you. It's just a little bit more of a nuance. Going back to some of the features really quick, I want to add the shipping zones feature on Shopify can save you a lot of money. So if you know your shipping costs, say you use just, you're going to go by package. So people like to ship in those square packages, right? That just self-seal. We all know, if we ship something that just has a standard weight, we know what it's going to be, you can charge the flat fee for that one type of package. So where setting up a shipping zone gets cool is that, say, if you're trying to make up shipping costs, you know how much it's going to cost. So if you wanted to up that shipping fee to have it a flat rate to make money off those costs, that is a really great way to have some flexibility with your shipping and be able to make some extra money on the back end, especially if people are ordering in places where you just don't know like how much it's going to be or if it's going to be extra. And I don't know if this is like something that's talked about much in the industry, but I think it's important to mention because people just generally look at shipping and they're like, okay, I just have to take one because this is what it's telling me and I'm going to owe this. But really you want to think of these things as a business perspective and say, how can I offset this cost so that I can keep myself in business and that I am charging the right amount here for shipping, because that's just the way people do business, So I
Yeah.
hope that helps.
Yeah, I love it. I love that tip. I think that's awesome and be super helpful. Just how to be a little bit more strategic, right? Instead of just taking things as it is, thinking through. And this is a conversation I actually had with my members yesterday. It was on a different topic, but it's like, what is your intention with this? And every time you do something, there should be an intention behind it and an actual thought behind it instead of just doing it just to do it, right? So I love how you said that example right there of what's the intention and how can you make it work for you instead of just accepting what is and kind of taking it as is, but really thinking through what are other ways, unique ways to make this work. So let's dive into a little bit more about like website and what's needed on a website. Because I know you work with a lot of clients, a lot of people on actually building their website. And you do this awesome work on Shopify and you have this great knowledge. But if we take a step back and just think about what are some of the key components that people who have a product-based business, who are selling a product, what should they have on their website? I know it's a loaded question, but maybe give us a couple key pieces that you want to mention that the person listening can make sure that they have that information on their website, or at least understand why it's important.
Yeah, it is a very loaded question because, people, when they think about their shop and getting the right, because you're not face to face with your customer ever if you're in e-commerce. So user experience, customer journey stuff, like from start to finish, has to be so like on the mark in a way. So when it comes to your website, yes, you want it to be pretty. Yes, you want it to communicate your brand and your values and portray you as however you want to be, portrayed on the internet. However, with some of the technical stuff, that does not always translate. So I think when people try to just focus on the look and the feel, they really miss an opportunity to convert. So what I mean by that is having your purchase buttons be on brand with your color palette. If they don't stand out, you're not creating a good user experience or guiding the person to the next action they need to take. If it's a light blue button, that kind of is a turnoff to people, where it's like it needs to be clear. A darker blue, for example, is like a trusting thing. And there's studies done on these types of things, and the psychology behind it just is wild, but not to dive into that too much. But the technical aspects are so, so important. So we're talking like SEO, product page titles, what you put in your collections, your user experience, how you categorize things, even in your menu. If you offer a discount, where are you putting that? How are you getting people on your email list? What's the offer? Like, what is the thing that you're telling people to do? Because people are smarter, people are annoyed. You want to create an experience, as best as you can without doing what the status quo is, and as a good business owner, as someone who cares about their business, you're going to want to surprise and delight them as much as possible. So that doesn't mean just copying what your competitor is doing. Maybe you have a way of getting people on your email list where you're offering them a free gift or something that's a surprise in their inbox. And if they sign up, then they can get that surprise. So, just doing things a little bit differently, segmenting them so that things are highly personalized is something that you can also do. And that can be on your pop-up form. If you're using an email marketing tool like Klaviyo, which is my absolute favorite to tie in with Shopify, that system is so robust that you can ask them very quick little questions. What's your favorite coffee? When's your birthday? Why are you shopping with us? Or, do you like watches or earrings or rings, when they fill out the form? And that will segment those people into their own special list so that you can target them even more on an individualized level. And shoppers love that. They may not know it psychologically, but these are the kinds of things that are so important with Shopify and like that you can do, and people just don't typically think about when they're first getting started, right? So that is just some of it and the beauty of it and why I love it so much.
Yeah, and I think I heard you say a couple really key pieces of information, like the SEO. So how do you make sure that your title, like the words in your actual product description and across your website are words that people are searching so you can get found there? I love that. I love how you said offering some sort of maybe like discount and a pop-up so you get them on your email list. How are you incentivizing people so you can continue to email them and get in front of them and create a longer lasting relationship? I think those were two really good key pieces of information that you mentioned. Now, I've heard you say this word a couple of times, and being someone who's not on Shopify, just clear this up for me. You mentioned putting your products in like collections. So what does that mean? Is that just grouping your products based on like skincare versus hair care and things like that? Or is there more to it? Walk me through what that is and why it's important.
Okay, so I'll give you an example of one of my most recent clients. They sell sporting gear and equipment for umpire officials. So people that are on the field in pro sports like the NFL, the NHL, or, umping hockey games. So they have like over 5,000 different products. So categorizing them was extremely important by sport, then by type. So say you are an umpire in baseball and you're looking for baseball umpire pants, you need to think of it that way, right? So it's not just my whole collection is everything for the baseball umpire player, because then they're going to get masks, they're going to get shirts, they're going to get shorts, like everything, right? And it's going to just look like a big mess. And really, you're trying to create a very easy customer experience to where someone can go on your site. They know kind of, okay, if I want this, I can go to this menu item here and it will expand. And then I can further drill down what I'm looking for. Is it a mask? Is it a whistle? Is it, whatever it is, have your categories set up in a way that houses like products together. It wouldn't just be hair products, right? Because what if those hair products are all encompassing? If you have like a hair oil and then a hair mist, you're not going to combine those two into the same category. You're going to have separate categories for both of those things. So try and think of it as like, from a user perspective, how easy can I get my customer from A to B and then to purchase?
Yeah, beautiful. And there's a word that you mentioned a couple times, like the customer experience and the customer journey. And I think that's something that I haven't really talked about on the podcast, but it's really making your website as simple as possible in the way that an actual customer would use it to purchase a product. And I think we all know our website so well that we're like, oh yeah, if I were to buy it, I'd go here, 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 click done. But when you think about someone else and how they're first landing on your website and how they get to the next step and then how they add it to their cart and how they actually purchase it, what is the path you want them to take? How simple are you making that path for them? To make sure that they're actually getting to the end desired of what you want of them purchasing the product.
Yeah. And I think the best way to combat that is to have people, as many as you can, just go on there and test it. And you would be so surprised at like what some people find, how they think, and how they can confuse things. Like, you will set something up so simply, yet person A can just be completely like, I don't understand. And then the person B will be like, oh, this is beautiful. I totally got what I needed. So in that process, try not to get too caught up in like, well, this person, that person said this, and this, because some of those are just complete outliers and not everyone's going to confuse like a layout of a website. But it is good to see what someone thinks, have people test it, everyone in your family, a group of your friends. That's going to really give you clarity about, okay, is this an easy website to buy from or not?
Yeah. And I would love to dive into this a little bit further. Do you have any other tips on how to make your website a good customer experience? So I love what you said of having friends, family, have people test it, right? Because they don't have a bias like we do of how we know our website. There's something I always tell people too of, the point of your website is for people to shop, right? So when you're on your homepage, sometimes people have 20 different banners and tags up top of read the blog, about me, contact us, our story, shop, and like multiple different things. And I'm like, man, if the point of someone is to shop, you want to reduce the number of other things people can click on right when they land on their website. Like you want to focus on that end result. So do you have any other tips like that that are beneficial for the customer journey or just to get people to purchase more products?
Yeah, there's some things that you said that I really want to touch on, like like the banner. So keep it simple, right? I feel like even scrolling banners are very confusing, right? If you have one offer, like one promotion, promote that. Swap out your header images. That's totally okay. All right, I'm going to segue for a second. So you had said something before that I thought was so important, and then I got my pen and paper out, and then I was already on to something else. So do you remember some of the things you brought up? Because there was a really important one that I thought of.
About customer journey.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, okay. I got it.
okay.
Okay, when it comes to having a good customer experience on your website, you have to remember too that these people cannot touch your products. They have no idea how it's going to fit them. They have no idea what to expect. So having things like sizing on your website, if you sell clothes especially, is so important. If I want a pair of pants and my measurements are not up there, I'm definitely not buying those pants because it's a waste of my time, a waste of my money. I have to do a return, blah, 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 blah. I just don't want to go through that. Another thing that you want to do, and a lot of people are scared to do this, is just have the reviews on the product page. Let people review things because that's going to be the best way for someone to determine if the product is for them. It's not about being afraid of getting a bad review. It's more about letting the customer say, "Hey, I'm this size," or this height, this weight, and this size fit me like this. Those type of reviews are so useful, at least for me, when I'm going to purchase online. And the way that you can combat these bad reviews is setting your email up so that if you want to get a review, you know, especially with Klaviyo, they have a template even for you that you can just send people of the product that they bought, how to review it, the questions you want to ask to be very precise so that it shows up on that product page right under that product. So I think people get like, I'm going to get a bad review and people aren't going to buy from me. But really, it's about having enough opinions out there because no one is exactly like the other person. And
Mm-hmm.
you know how things, you know, are for you and your tastes and your size and your style. That would even go for like a candle, you know, did it smell too bad? Was it too overpowering? How long did it last? People like to know these things. So don't be afraid of those types of really key elements that are going to help you actually make more sales instead of give you a bad review and then no one's going to buy. It's not real.
Yeah, and I read something really interesting while we're on the topic of reviews, which I thought was so insightful and actually helps to alleviate some of the pressure on quote unquote bad reviews, right? I read something that said people are more likely to buy something when there are a couple negative reviews because then they feel like it's actually all authentic. So what happens is a lot of people, if there's only good reviews, some people get skeptical, like, okay, what is this? Were they all given freebies, or are these bots, or all these fake reviews? But when there's actually one or two not perfect reviews, people think it's more believable and then everything seems more authentic. Obviously, we want to strive for a great experience for people to leave a great review. But when I read that, I was like, oh, that makes those one or two bad reviews that do come through feel like nothing. Like it's actually going to make my products, my website feel more genuine and real. So more people are actually going to buy because of that. So I think it's a nice little reframe of, you know what, if you do get a negative review, it's actually only helping you as long as you're not in like a 2-star average, right? You still want to strive for that 5-star, but it actually can help you and be in your favor.
Yeah, you said it. It's just more authenticity. And that's like such the buzzword today. Take it or leave it. People do want to have that. They need to be reassured at every level that this purchase is going to be the thing that they're looking for, right? And you can do more with your packaging and, you know, with your text messaging and the follow-ups and, you know, checking in on them post-purchase. Those things are like little touches along the way that goes so far with the customer. Even if you have like, you know, a points or value reward system, those are also so great because people are going to come back and shop with you again and again. So yeah, I could talk about that all day.
Yeah. Is that something that Shopify offers? Do they have like a rewards program you can
Yeah,
easily implement?
yeah. Depending on the theme you buy, you can create like a membership area where people can sign up and earn points. Another thing that they can do too, so when it comes to setting up your review marketing, you have a couple of different apps that are good. Some of them will let you have photographs, some of them won't. So it depends on the product that you're selling, but I highly encourage you, if you can, to allow photographs of your customers with the review, just because it gives that like really immediate experience with the product, and also really would push someone one way or the other to be like, oh my gosh, yes, this is a total like this is a win. I'm 5'7" and I'm 140 pounds and this looks great on her. Like, wow, we have the same body type. It's a yes for me. So just think of ways that might be scary, that are probably things that you should be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Such good feedback. I love it. Well, I do want to end with this question before we wrap up and let people know where they can find you and how they can keep in contact with you. But before we get there, any other final Shopify pieces of information or tips that you want to share with us just as people are going down this Shopify website journey?
Yeah, I think, a lot of what I'm hearing lately is that people are very interested in it. They have positioned themselves in the market in such a unique way that people are more curious now than ever to figure out if Shopify is for them. And I think if you are curious, you can sign up for that free account. You can play around with it, do the free stuff, and see if it's something you want to seriously invest in. And if it is, it's going to be very, very easy for you to transition over. If you don't know coding and if you want something more pretty, yes, it's possible to learn those tools and skills, but I would not focus on that right away, because Shopify is built in such a way that it's going to help you grow your business and optimize your website for conversions already. So just grow a little bit and then work on polishing it up as you move through your business would be my best advice.
Yes, there's this awesome quote called, well, I don't know if it's a quote or a saying. I heard it from one of my coaches, and he says, version done is better than version none. So it's like, yeah, just get something out there, right? And a lot of people really hold themselves back because they want it to be perfect on the first try, and it's never going to be perfect. It's just going to be a continuous evolution, and it's going to grow exactly like you said. So I love hearing that and just reinforcing that for our listeners. Yeah. So cool. Awesome. You've shared so many great insights on Shopify, the functionality, the features, the apps, some website tips and tricks on things to make sure that you have. And I appreciate all of your insights. This has been such an awesome conversation. Let us know where you hang out on Instagram, your Instagram handle, your website, and anything else that you want to share so we can keep in contact with you.
Yeah, you can come hang out with me on Instagram. My username is eCommerce Savvy, and my website is Summit Web Marketing. And you can find all of the things on there, whether you're looking to integrate Instagram shop or do some better marketing for your current e-commerce website, or if you are interested in moving over to Shopify, you can learn so much more about all of those things on my website.
Awesome. I'll make sure to link it in the show notes too. And thank you so much, Deonnah, for being here today.
It was so fun. Thank you so much.
We'll chat soon. Thank you. Thank you.